Because you can post a lot of content, but if you're not engaging with your audience, you're not gonna get
see any change.
You're not gonna see any change.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell when I work with my clients, I'm like, I'll manage your account, but also engage. As I say, content is king and engagement is queen. So if, there's no point in making so much content, but if you're not engaging with your audience, of course, no, they're not gonna engage in anything you post. My audience, no, I'm always there 24/7.
Yeah.
They even told me joking around, I was like, man, is it you or is it the AI bot? I'm like, it's both. It's 50-50.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Film Goals podcast. Today I'm with the one and only Suriel. How do you say your last name?
Cruz.
Suriel Cruz.
Yeah, Suriel
okay,
Cruz.
I was going to ask Suriel?
Suriel.
Suriel Cruz.
Yeah, Suriel is in Spanish.
Okay, so you're a videographer, photographer, and you kind of own your own business in videography. So I wanted to have you on, just kind of talk about how you got started and, you know, all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, my name is Suriel, right? So let me tell you my story. I was born in Mexico. Came to Las Vegas when I was 3, and been in Vegas my entire life until like 27 years old this year. It's crazy to start. I started in the production world when I was younger. I got involved. When I was younger, I had a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, you want to help us in the stream?" And back then, I was younger. I didn't see it as a business back then. So so I went to try out other businesses and then went back into photography, videography, taking photos back in 2019.
Oh, okay.
So I started in 2019 with an iPhone 6 taking photos and videos. And, it was before the pandemic. I was in the insurance industry for 3 years. And throughout the insurance industry, I got clients through social media. And then eventually, little by little, I started making content with my mentor back then. We used to have a podcast back then. And so I was getting clients through social media, and that's when I left the industry. And then, little by little, I was like, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. Start filming, start working with small businesses back in 2019. So that's how the world filming and taking photos started back in 2019.
And how did you, what did you like about it? When you first started, what did you enjoy doing?
I just able to, make content for other people. That was the thing that I love. Back then, before everybody started getting involved more on social media, we used to do LinkedIn videos. And, I didn't back then, well, my editing used to be really bad. Okay. But now, I have a team and everything. But it's awesome to, I went from working small businesses to working with real estate companies, working a lot of corporate stuff, to working with very, very successful entrepreneurs in Las Vegas, stuff like that.
And what kind of content are you creating for people?
Making content for building their personal brand on social media,
So what kind of stuff do you do for them?
I build them let's say it's a clothing brand, right? We're going to do a clothing brand, and we take photos, but also we do videos of the clothing brand. So it's a way to, make their brand up. That's just an example of a business, but, I also got to work with people where, we're going to record content. Let's do content, educational content, entertainment content, and personal and lifestyle content,
Okay. So that's funny that you started with the iPhone 6. How did you... how did you get into the technical stuff? Did you use YouTube? Did you go to take classes? How did you start learning all that stuff?
I started working for other production companies.
Oh, okay.
So I worked for a media company, several, and I was just helping out on the side, taking, handling the side with stuff like that. In my family, it's we have cameras, but it's a family thing that runs in the family, my cousins, but no one took it serious like I did.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's part of the creative that we have as a family, but nobody took it serious like I've taken it more serious than anyone.
Cool. And then how did you start finding these clients that you're creating stuff for?
Through social media, building a personal brand is the most popular thing. It's the most currency thing we have in 2024. If you don't have a personal brand, nobody's going to know you. Then the future multi-billionaires are going to be coming through building a personal brand. Because having a personal brand, eventually then if you build your personal brand bigger and bigger, you could go to any industry in the future. You grow out your personal brand, and to say, I'll grow my company. A couple of years later, I could literally start going into any other industries because, the currency of having a personal brand is very important in this era that we're living.
And how did you reach out to them? Like, what did you say to them? Like, hey, let me make some video for you, or like, how did you do it?
Oh, how do I do it? I just literally started building relationships, started engaging in people's photos, videos. This is like 2019.
Right. Yeah.
So I started engaging. Content is king, but engagement is queen. There's no point in making so much content, but if you're not engaging with your audiences, there's no point. You're not going to build a solid community also, social media, and that's been part of it. I started engaging people's stuff, and then I was like, can I work with your business? The first businesses that I started doing was for free, and then little by little I started to get that, and then I had a team, and then the pandemic came, and then rebuild again. It's been over and over to rebuild. It's been multiple times.
Oh wow! So what kind of goes into, for someone that does content, like what goes into creating your own business? Like what do you have to go through to start that business?
I say figure out what's your niche and figure out what you actually want to work with. I tried different stuff, doing parties, doing birthdays. They call me for quinceañeras, and I'm like, to be honest, it's not my thing. I'm more like corporate stuff. I got to do a lot of conferences where I cover the photos and events, or work with people or businesses or realtors. That's more like, for me, it's more easy. People tell me, oh, you didn't do 15s. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Maybe I have a photographer friend that she does that, but it's not my thing. Don't take it wrong. Everybody's likes every industry. So, I tried different stuff, and, but I started with small businesses first. Then I went to real estate, then started getting more and more into corporate stuff, working with David Meltzer. Comes to Las Vegas quite a lot of times. That's a lot of meetups. Got connected with the media team, and then we're like, oh, let's, can I record for you? So, that's what I started doing, stuff like that, Oh,
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did a couple quinceañeras when I started.
Yeah.
I mean, they were fun. I didn't mind it. And I think what I did was pretty basic, man. I just kind of like sat the camera on a tripod.
Yeah.
Recorded the dances. That was pretty much what I did. So,
yeah.
But, that's kind of how you start.
Yeah.
Start finding like different areas.
Different niches,
So what was your first niche? Do you remember?
My first niche was a small business. It was a flower shop.
Oh, okay.
That was the first flower shop I remember. They closed down because of the pandemic. They couldn't survive. And, I was like, back then, the whole entire world was on the, pandemic, whatever, what happened in the past. And, I was like, okay. Then I started getting businesses like party businesses, throwing their videos and photos. I started taking gym videos for a gym owner. Every single time she's like, hey, can you come over here? I'll pay you. And then so I started doing gym videos for her and stuff like that. So the little bit I started getting involved. Then once I got a camera, I took it more like, okay, now charging from low to more. So that's when I started taking more different.
Okay.
But it's been like multiple times to rebuild,
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, it's not beautiful. It's not glamorous. You got to get to work. It's not overnight. A lot of people may say, oh, it looks easy. But it's multiple times rebranding yourself over and over. And, but also like networking has been the key to having the great relationships and great partnerships with, stuff with other people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's been part of it too.
Yeah. And you're always out. I always see you like on your videos. You're always out speaking and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the stuff that you do when it comes to that.
Oh, speaking has always been my thing since I was younger. My dad, let me tell you, let me tell you the story. So my parents they come from, it's an entrepreneurship world. So my dad has his own company. My mom, they all work for themselves. Nobody has their own boss, just their own boss.
Okay. What do they do?
My dad he's a contractor.
Okay.
And my mom, she cleans houses by herself.
It's her business. Okay.
It's her business. So awesome. Everybody in our family just has their own business.
Okay.
And my dad took me to an event 12 years ago when I was 14. And I saw this person inspired me in front of like making like 8-9 figures, like speaking.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, man, what does he do that I can't do? So I was like, so I told my dad, what do I have to do to get to his level? And then my dad's like, just, learn a lot of personal development, learn how to communicate, and learn how to influence other people. And then I was like, okay, but I was like, how do I do that? So he's like, so we started going to a lot of events. And then little by little, that's when I started to see myself. I was like, when I was younger, I was in the back, literally taking notes. I was like, one day I'm going to be there in the front speaking in front of people. Oh, and then my dad's like, when I was younger, he's like, start introducing me in front of my people and my mentors back then. So my mentors they're like, we'll start training you in front of people little by little so you can literally start getting used to speaking up front. And I was like, okay, but I'm not good at it. So, little by little, that's how I started.
Yeah.
And, getting invited to speak at different places, that was always like a goal when I was younger.
Okay.
So little by little, I was like, oh, that's how I started to happen. It's been like a goal since I was younger. Now it's happening.
Yeah.
But it's been like 12 years of putting in the work, like nonstop, like always showing up on social media, always showing up anywhere, regardless. It gets hard because most people quit when it gets hard, when nobody believes in you, when your bank account's like negative and you're like, man, I have to start over again. So, that's where the real challenge comes as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And, that's why, it's been years of putting in the work, For
sure. And then what do you kind of talk about at these speeches that you do?
I like I talk about why it's important to build an online presence and content creation. That's what I talk about. And also, like, the last event that we had that I met you there was about photography and videography. I think most people want to get involved into this industry. This industry is starting to become more popular more than ever. I think it's a big pie for a lot of people. There's no competition for all creators. I say we collaborate with other creators. I got into collaborate with a lot of creators here in Vegas, and it's awesome to work together with other people and learn from other styles too. Because everybody has their own style.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
it's cool to see, because you did talk about how you started with the iPhone, and I think it's important for people to hear that. Like, you ain't gotta have like the best cameras and the best, like, just go and start.
There's a lot of more scary things out there. Like a lion, a tiger, a shark. But you can't afford a $5,000 camera or maybe a $300 light. You can start with your phone. It's one of the things, very easiest thing you can start. Because most people are super scared of putting yourself out there, but it's necessary.
And I think just learning the skills first of all. Like, learn how to frame something, and you'll learn that on a phone. So
And then I tell people, like, okay, if you can afford like a $300 mic or $500 mic, you get the cheap ones, the ones for the phone. They're easy. You get your great audio, not the best, but at least you have a great audio to start with.
It's better than the iPhone audio or shitty audio.
And that's why I tell people, I advise them, because they're like, man, how come your videos sound good? I'm like, but it's like having a great audio. But then, like, I didn't start it with the camera right away. I started with an iPhone, and that's why I tell most creators, most photographers that are just starting, I'm like, you just start with your iPhone. Then, iPhones have gone way better than back then since 2019. An iPhone 6 wasn't that best quality for photo or video. I remember when I used to be taking it, iPhone has evolved. And, like, now you can show 4K cinematic.
Now that has cinematic.
Portrait mode. iPhone didn't have that back then. So, it's the same as a camera. There's even lenses you could buy for an iPhone. Like a tripod. They actually make it like a camera. You
can turn your phone into a cinema camera, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's been movies that's been made from cinematic. Like, I think it was Marvel. One of the movies from Marvel. Which movie? I forgot. They told me. I heard it was made from iPhone. So it's crazy to hear that movies are made by iPhones. But people don't recognize it. But
for sure. So what is some of the stuff you're doing now? Like, what you got going on right now?
Well, it's like there's so much stuff going on. As I'm always on Mondays, like tomorrow. I'm a photographer for a main comedy show that just started to have like 99 shows. Building up their brand, their social media up, there's stuff like that, and then mentoring a lot of people under my wing. I'm able to all the years of doing multiple businesses and failing, the experience I got into, able to give back to the community, also keep on learning. And actually keep on showing people the skills that I have learned that took me 12 years of learning, and there's still so much to keep on learning. But it's been like the experience that I've done doing, I sold multi-level. I was in multi-level industry. I was in the insurance industry. I sold cars, I did a lot of stuff, and through that experience, I'm able to show other people like techniques, how to communicate online, how to communicate on the front of the camera, and like how to build the relationships through social media. Because if you don't, you're just one connection away. Just when you go networking, you don't get married with that person right away. You build that relationship first, then something might happen. And that's why I teach people those techniques, because as a creator or any business you want to start, you got to build those relationships, because you're one handshake away to changing your life.
Yeah.
You're one video away to change your life, you know?
Yeah.
You just got to be the content.
Yeah, just gotta keep creating content.
Just creating
that's
content.
the hard part. So how do you how do you stay creative when it comes to corporate stuff? Because I've done some corporate stuff, but that isn't really my main thing, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you stay creative, keep doing like the same, I guess, kind of style, or how do you do?
I always study other creators, and then I was like, oh, let me go on YouTube. Let me see what else I could change, you know? There's so much stuff going on now with AI, artificial intelligence. The way of editing, the way of doing content is changing. So as creators, if you're not like using AI, you know, AI came out a year ago. You know, I've been using a lot of AI, Midway, Runway. You can even clone yourself on AI. So like, there's some people like, well, I mean, yeah, you could do that. So they say you can even talk to yourself speaking in Japanese or in Chinese or any other language you're using AI. So as a creators, I think it's important to be like up to date, you know, because, you know, I use a lot of AI for my editing. I use a lot of it. And, you know, it doesn't mean it's going to replace you. It's going to make things throughout the 1 year. I've noticed I've done more stuff quicker than like a couple years ago. So a couple years ago, I had to figure out, what content to do. Now with, you know, AI, there's no, say, you just go on ChatGPT, you're an expert and photography, and you get content. So, you're an expert in videography, just boom, you get content. So you got to talk to AI like an assistant. So, you know, using AI has changed for me the game. You know, we used to take me 3-4 days to edit my photos for my clients. Now I give it to them like in 45 seconds to 5 minutes, like that, in live, in every moment.
Yeah.
And they post it right away for the social media.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really game changer, you know.
Damn,
for me, it has helped me like crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure. It's a good tool, I think. The hard part is like having it take over the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like the scary part, I guess. I don't think it'll change for creators because we could do something that's like, you need creative, you know, you need to be more creative than like a computer's not going to tell you exactly how to be creative, you know what I mean? But it's a good tool to help you. Yeah.
I mean, you just got to talk to it like as a human, like just like how me or you're talking, just talk to it as like a human. Yeah. Even a year ago when AI came out, I was kind of low-key, kind of like scared. I was like, you know. But then I started to use it. I was like, actually, this is a game changer, you know. And then I was telling my friends, photographers, they're like, oh my God, you're becoming an AI person. I'm like, yeah, it's not as replacing people. It's just a way to become 100 times more productive.
Yeah, being able, I think what you said, like being able to give people their photos so fast. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know what kind of photos do you do, headshots, or what kind of photos do you do?
I do headshots. I do headshots, corporate stuff, personal branding, and everything.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, being able to like touch those up and all that takes forever too.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how AI can do that now.
Yeah, I've done that. It's, you know, I did a headshot for an office, and they got the badges literally right there. And everybody's like, oh my God, I love your photo. And they're like, and then the reaction, they just makes it super crazy. And they're like, oh my God, you got it to me like right away. I'm like, of course, you know, like, cause as photographers, if you're not using these tools, you're not upgrading, you're not getting up to date, you know, you don't want to get behind, you know, just like social media. A couple years ago before pandemic, nobody was on social media. Nobody was making content. And, you know, I remember, and now everybody's putting videos, making content, because back then it wasn't popular. Back in 2019, 2017, 2016, it wasn't popular. Doing a podcast wasn't that popular. You know, having a personal brand it was there, but it wasn't at its right now. You know, it's a currency. You know, it's your portfolio. You're like, you got 5 seconds to impress somebody you meet on social media. And you'd be like, oh man, I never knew this person was who it is, you know? Yeah. So as building a personal brand is the most currency thing, AI is the most currency thing that's going on. You know, this year's about to be 2 years since AI is, you know, this is going to be the second year once the year's over. But it came out a year ago, and most people are starting to barely hop in. And, you know, it's important to be up to date and don't get behind in the digital era, because it's changing more and more.
Oh yeah,
you know,
there's always a new one popping up.
There was a new thing now. So let's say, you know, what if TikTok wasn't gone right now? What was all social media platforms? What are you gonna do? Like, you know, it's important to be up to date what's going on. There's so many platforms that are coming out, but it's important to, if you're gonna start in a platform, just start with one, and then get better at it. You know, I manage so many social media accounts, but also I manage my own thing. You can even automate it. your own like social media message through a chat bot, you know?
Yeah.
Creating that, you're like, oh my God, who's talking to you? You know, I was able to schedule that. I was able to schedule less than an hour, like 180 posts per day.
Oh, damn.
So using automation and
for AI. Yours or for
myself?
For yourself, damn.
Yeah. So, you know, the power of automation and AI is just crazy. You know?
And what kind of content do you post on your, like, do you post like the stuff that you're doing at work or what do you do? Okay.
Yeah. Behind the scenes, you know, like, you know, like some BTS.
Do you post the photo shoots and all that stuff or?
Oh yeah, I do. I do post them in my business page. That's where you can see. But I've been mixing it in with myself too to come out a little bit more. And I noticed like they're like, okay, I know who's behind his company, you know. Oh. So, but I use my personal brand and also the business. So the personal brand is growing, and then people know my company through my personal brand. So that's for me. That's been like this like the able to get buck left and right, you know.
So what are some of the stuff you tell people when it comes to building the brand? Like what are some of the stuff that like if people are watching and they want to know like, okay, how do I start creating my brand? What's some of the things you tell them? Well,
like, you know, if you're gonna start a business, do 50% business. You know, talking about what you're good at. You're like, you know, like what's the most important thing in business? Let's say you're doing let's think about, okay, let's say you're a videographer, photographer, or a creator, just a creator in general. You know, you're gonna make a video like why it's important to make content. That's one example. Or let's say you're doing construction, or you're in real estate. You're gonna talk about, oh, this is the property that we're talking about. You're just educating your audience. So make educational content where people get to learn that part of you as a business. You know, because we could talk about, oh, why is it perfect to have good lighting? What kind of mics do you should use? What kind of cameras do you use? Like, or what's the best thing out there? You know, like, you know, the DJI mics 2 came out. I have the DJI ones, but I'm just like, I want to get the DJI 2s because, you know, they're educating you on all those stuff. I still need, you know, one of those. That's one example. And making inspirational content, you know, where people get inspired through the content. And people are like, oh my God, this is so inspirational that people like, you know, I have a video that I have there. It's very inspirational. People, that's been one of my other strong engagement videos. People get inspired and, you know, they're like, oh man, this makes me want to keep on going as a creator or as anyone who starts a business. Also, like, you know, gym content. I post a lot of gym content too. And people have told me, oh, your videos have inspired me to go back into the gym. So it's able to hear that from people. That it's like very awesome because you never know, you know, who you're inspiring behind the camera, you know?
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah. Just the content you're making is, you know, you never know. And also that personal lifestyle, you know, people get to know you at a personal level because, you know, if they get to know you at that personal level, you know, they feel like they know you. You know, I got a lot of people that say, oh my God, I feel like I know you, but when I meet you in person, you are the same. So being real and not fake on social media. And, you know, people like pretend they're someone else on social media and someone they're not. But being real with your audience and being like really authentic, you know, people notice it on your social media. So that's the thing I done for myself, you know, able to be real and people actually when they get to know me, because your personal brand is the way you are, the way you're carrying, the way you care about people, the way you treat people. And that's the most important thing, you know, that's your personal brand. You're the brand for that. You're the content. So, you know, it's important to able to be in that part in your brand, you know?
Yeah. And do you go into like the technical stuff? Like for example, like detail, does it matter when people post or how much they post? Like, do you talk about all that? And like, does that even matter? Or
I feel like you just gotta keep on posting every day. You know, you want to change your life, just keep on posting. You know,
yeah, because I think like I'm trying to get better at it. But I don't like. I mean, I do post on my stories a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't like like I feel like I'm doing it too much.
Yeah. No, but I feel like you gotta be posting because if not, no one's gonna know you. You know. Yeah. Throughout the year, I post on every platform every day. I was like, I need to have content. I need to have photos. I need to have videos, like every day. You know, like I need to make content every day. I do foodie videos too. That way, you know, I was like, okay, you know, I do foodie videos too because I'm like, not only I do photos, photography, videography, but also I'm like, hey guys, this is what I do here in Vegas too. You know, foodie. I need to do more foodie videos, and you know, I got to see people go to that restaurant, to that place, and get invited to go to. I did a grand opening for this place called Museum of Illusion before they did the grand opening because of the content I was making. I got invited to those stuff. So as you know, little by little, you start making content like that, you get invited to different stuff. So it's also an opportunity when you start making so much content and the relationships that you're doing, the connections, it gets you to different places, and that's why I look back a couple years ago. I'm like, you never know, if you get a camera or you start doing content, you get invited to so many places you never thought.
And do you keep how like close do you look at like analytics and checking all that stuff? Do you look at all that? And
I do look at it.
The difference?
I do look at it, but also it's also the part of engaging, because you can post a lot of content, but if you're not engaging with your audience, you're not gonna get
see any change.
You're not gonna see any change.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell when I work with my clients, I'm like, I'll manage your account, but also engage. I got into to do that. That's why as I say, content is king and engagement is queen. So if there's no point in making so much content, but if you're not engaging with your audience, of course, no, they're not gonna engage in anything you post. Like I could post something super bad, and people will still comment.
Yeah,
they'll still like. So it's like, because I'm always like engaging with my audience. My audience know I'm always there 24/7.
Yeah,
they even told me, joking around, I was like, man, is it you or is it the AI bot? I'm like, it's both. It's 50-50. So it's both as me and also the chat bot,
The chat bot replies?
Yeah.
To the comments or to what?
To the messages.
Oh, DMs.
Yeah, DMs.
Oh, okay. But then in the comments it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, damn.
We're trying to figure that out part too. So the power of automation is so powerful,
Yeah, no, for sure.
So if you're a business or a creator, if you don't automate your business, it's a way to, it's crazy. There's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of restaurants. I think McDonald's and some other state just became automated. So there's no people.
Yeah.
That's how you know that the power of automation is everywhere. Even the biggest entrepreneurs, wealthy people are automating their business. So as a creators, it's important to automate your business too. That way you're like, it's not you're still working. It just helps you, 100x your business more and more,
So before we wrap it up, I want to know like some cool clients that you worked with. What's some cool I know you're like big in tech and stuff.
Yeah.
Any cool clients you can tell us like you worked with?
I got to work with this company called Titan AI. So have you remember seeing the movie Iron Man?
Yeah.
So it's like a Jarvis.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
it's like, it's right here.
Uh-huh.
You say, hey, Angel, you didn't drink water today. So I got into shoot for the founders.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Isaac and Megan. They're the CEO and the CEO.
Uh-huh.
I got to work with them. And their grand opening, I did their shoots. Gone to work with a company called Guest. It's in lecture cars. They've all been like very tech companies, to be honest. This company, my business partner, working with him 3 years, Tech Start. I've been able to help clients from all industries. The partnerships that I have with tech companies that's helping me learn about the tech, but also gotten to work with very awesome companies. Also, I did a grand opening for Cox here, a video at Henderson. When their grand opening, got to work with that brand. Clothing brand, a gym, multiple gyms. I have soon to be working with other gyms too. And then realtors. What else? Businesses. It's political people.
Okay.
Stakeholders. It's been a lot.
That's cool, man. How did you get into the tech world? How did you get into that?
My business partner, he's very tech person, and then he started, I back then I didn't know nothing about tech. So I was kind of like on the creator part, but then little by little, I was like, oh man, I want to learn this part. Cause I know the creative part, but I need to learn the tech part too. Yeah. So little by little, I started to get involved in that. And at the beginning, I didn't know what they were saying. I was like, what are you saying? Like right now, I sound very tech savvy. But it's like able to learn from these, learn from them. I have a friend, his name is James. This gym's called Joe Fits. So it's an AI gym. So also, able to go to this gym, and it's awesome that you get a 15-minute workout.
Oh.
So, it's awesome to learn from people that are super smart. And they're like, I told them, you guys are super smart. I learned from you guys. You guys are genius. I can make content, but you guys are app developers, guys know everything of that.
Yeah.
And then little by little, I started getting involved in that more and more. Gone to a lot of tech events, a lot of like a high level. It's a CRM, customer relationships management. That's what CRM means. You know, we all have a CRM in our phones, but this is a way for you to context. And then little by little, I didn't even know how to say that a couple years ago. And so it's a way I started getting involved in that. Started going to a lot of tech events and just learning from them. And then I was like, okay, this is actually pretty great. I was like, I need to be more tech savvy.
Cool, man. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, bro.
No, thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah. No, for sure. So anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Follow me on social media. Suriel Cruz Salcedo's on my Instagram, and all my handles are all Suriel Cruz Salcedo.
Cool, man. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See you guys.